I want to talk about one other conspiracy theory related to the South Carolina church shooting, where Dylan Roof has admitted not only to having committed that shooting, but also to deliberately targeting black people. There's common conspiracy theories that surface around these sort of public shootings. One is that it's a false flag setup to create a pretext for a gun grab. There's also, oh, it's a setup if it's a cross-racial crime, as we're dealing with here. Sometimes we hear that it's a setup to create a race war, which of course Obama apparently has some interest in perpetrating, even though he is half white and half black. Why he would perpetrate such a race war, I have no idea. And then third, we sometimes hear, including from people like Alex Jones, that this is all a result of people on psychiatric drugs, which are being used to control people and make them violent. And that is exactly what has been going on with Alex Jones's Infowars, which posted an article combining these two ideas, saying this is like the perfect mix of these two conspiracy theories. Alex Jones posting an article that says the Charleston shooter was on a drug linked to violent outbursts, specifically a drug called Suboxone, and then bringing on Reverend Clenard Childress to say that the drug was actually combined with the desire to fuel a race war. So this is like just, you know, the climax of these conspiracy theories. It's not just a false flag, a setup to fuel a race war. It was the use of one of these violence-provoking drugs to fuel a race war via this attack. Let's take a look at the video.
I really believe you do have an excellent observation, as if that this is being enticed, or this young man on a drug was given instructions. It's amazing to me that he picked such a historical place, a site that would be endeared by African Americans, in order to go in and cause this carnage.
That's right. He wasn't. That's a great point. He wasn't just trying to kill black people. He wanted to stir folks up, or whoever advised him. I mean, does anybody believe this chili bowl haircut guy that looks like he's got a 70 IQ? I mean, he looks, I don't mean to be mean, he looks mentally disabled. He looks like Dumb and Dumber. Does anybody believe he would be, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I appreciate it, because it appears to me that he was coerced, that this is where that jargon, for what I understand, he was saying inside the church, is typical old Klan language to entice white men to join the Klan.
That's right. He was given instructions. He picked a particular spot based on what he was told by someone advising him, and it's all because he was on this drug Suboxone. Let's take this piece by piece. He said he wanted to kill black people. He said where he got these ideas. So if the argument is actually it's a conspiracy where he was being advised, he was advised in a really specific way. It's one of these, the most complex explanation needs to be the real one to believe these conspiracy theories. And number two, as far as the drugs are concerned, we just talked about a new study in the journal called World Psychiatry, which suggests that there is a correlation between tranquilizers and painkillers with an increased risk of committing homicide. But number one, it's mostly with tranquilizers and painkillers. Suboxone is not on that list. And number two, it's only correlation, not causation. And we have to think, could there be something else that is a sort of confounding factor that might give us a correlation between people taking those drugs and violent acts that is not a causal link? So we have data about much of what Alex Jones is trying to say here, and it's the typical unhinged conspiratorial fear-mongering that I increasingly question whether Alex Jones actually believes or is just doing because his followers eat it right up.
It could be an act, and if he wants to bring up some of the problems we have with drugs in this country, that's fine. I do it in a reasonable, responsible way. Don't start coming up with these wacky conspiracy theories. It's not as bad as some of his other ones, but it's still pretty ridiculous.
And the undertone is the same, which is everything is controlled. It's all controlled opposition. It's all carefully crafted based on the desires of people like Barack Obama to fuel race wars. What the goal of these race wars in the last 18 months of President Obama's presidency would be, I have absolutely no idea. But whether it's a joke or not, and based on my personal interactions with Alex Jones, I think a lot of what he does is sort of an act. it's irresponsible either way. And I certainly look forward to the discussion of this on our Facebook page at facebook.com/David Pakman Show.